much in my videos, but now we are going outside. This is actually a trip we're going to remember. So this is a very high mountain range for Sajek, and I probably think that it got viral, so you guys probably know about it. But you can see we are going to talk about the terrain, the culture, and everything like that of this. So that's gonna be really fun. Let's talk about it. So there's a lot of nature, unlike the Himalayas. So that's what's interesting about this, because if you go to the rear view camera, then you can see that like it's very green compared to the Himalayas, which is just like absolutely dark. So that's actually a thing. But this is interesting also because I also like about nature. So this is gonna be fun. Now you can see that terrain absolutely on this distance. We look like a savannah. That's actually really weird because this is like a jungle, not like a savannah. Okay, jungles and savannah are pretty good. Probably think of what's up. Let's go about this. Talk about this more. Let me probably find some interesting things. Well, the grass actually is also interesting. Like the plants, you can see that those kind of look like palm trees, like mini palm trees. I do think that some of these are palm trees, but not all of them. They look very much like palm trees, and also you saw something like a savannah thing. There's also a lot of cultures. Let's move into the culture segment because it's interesting. It's also pretty interesting on what the culture is. So first off, there are people on hills which are like very adaptive to the hills. Like they're on top of the hills. They're not in the valley below or the canyon-like terrain. You can see the canyon-like terrain, and look at how many palm trees those are. Oh my god! How are they gonna all grow? I don't know if they are actually palm trees, or not. But I think they are. Some of them are, but not all of them. So like I said, the culture is like before the 28th century of Bangladesh. That's the culture basically. Like that's the culture. You have a haze on top of it. It's very much like old. Yeah, you can see those houses. You can see that that haze also, like they still do put hay on their roofs. But again, that's like a cultural thing, right? That's just a cultural thing, right? So I don't necessarily think that that's like something big. But there's also wood, which is an interesting type of wood. And let's talk more about the upper culture and what we have seen so far. I have seen so far, at least, but I was exploring up there. Well, I found a lot of bamboo dishes, which was I've never eaten any bamboo dishes actually, so I didn't know about those actually for now. So that's pretty cool. That their culture has a lot of bamboo stuff, probably because there's bamboo there. So when we're going around here, you'll see some bamboo trees. But for now we can't see any because it's like jungle type thing. You can also see the roads from below a little later, which will be pretty fun if you see it. Like you can see there's some roads around here that are like absolutely going up like so uphill. Like it's very high, like it's like 25,000 feet above. So that's actually really cool because 25,000 feet is like almost like the Himalayas. Like the Himalayas is very bigger, but this is more green life. So this is more habitable. Like you can hike these mountains and you'll be comfortable with it. There are also a lot of resorts up the mountain, unlike some other about other budget resort like areas that which have only resorts and not the bottom because it's easier to build there. But there's culture here, so let's talk about the history though about insurgents. So that's also pretty cool. So I didn't know about this up till last night, but so there are insurgents that were here. Let me tell you the full story as we go along. So there was a river in around like Rangabati, and that river had a dam. The Pakistan was in control in 1948, right? So they were in control and they built a dam, the biggest hydroelectric dam, like not the biggest in our like region. It's like the biggest. So that too made the water like make a lake around the plateau and the terrain. That is where the tribes actually farm. So they formed a rebel or insurgents. Now first off, let me clear the difference between rebels and insurgents. Insurgents actually have political influence while rebels do not have that much political influence. So insurgents try to politically make the people happy enough so that they can actually rule over that area. Much like rebels, but they actually do political influence on outside areas to try to make them more like supportive. So like that's what they were trying to do. But then at 1971, when we had the war like against Pakistan, then that those insurgents actually were teaming up with Pakistan. Why you ask? Means they thought the Pakistan would won. Yeah, it makes sense too. But I don't think that Pakistan would have won in this perspective. Not because I already know that they won, but I'm thinking because they don't have that strong of a navy. Like they do have a strong navy, but I don't think that India is gonna help them get up there. Like they're not gonna allow them to go through the territorial waters, are they? They also don't have that strong of an air force. I mean, they do have air force. There were a lot of bombings happening, but not really that strong of an air force. If you just see like a few years ago, there was like the Cold War fights, some mini fights, the Cold War, just that made it like so small considerably. So that makes sense why the insurgent that doesn't make sense why insurgents was on Pakistan side. But then when Bangladesh won, what they did was they'll keep the hydroelectric dam so that they can power everything because they lost, obviously. Now this have made an even stronger insurgent group, thus, and that made more instability. They were going to make addition with Rangabati, Khagrachori, and also Sajek and Bandarban also. So then that was, I don't know what it was called. We'll just say Kingdom of Sajek because that makes sense. This is just like the biggest area around. At least I think. Okay, but that then when they tried it, well, Bangladesh tried to make like military camps above there, and they made it. So they actually made like a camp which stopped them from taking over, and eventually the insurgents died out because of that. Not political thing. They also don't have military, and that's about it of the history. But while we were talking about the history, there's some really interesting cultures that were also around here. So let's move back into the culture statement. Like the history is really useful to know about this place because you're gonna have to go on different types of driving things, like so that you can actually you have to move differently on your car so that you can get here. And obviously there's no planes gonna get here because the mountain ranges are the best place to land emergency planes. That's so annoying. Like you actually, that's so annoying because sometimes you can't go over the Pacific Ocean because it's just the biggest ocean ever and you might not get out. That's just annoying. But yeah, let's go back to the culture. So yeah, they also but like the bigotry or the government doesn't control the navy or anything like that. They kind of just have their own little kingdom thing. far is there are cultures in South America that are very close to this. They have their own bubble kingdom, but they have more political power influence. They are affected more by the government, but that's the closest we can get because Americans' actual tribes are just kept in camps. That's it. They're meant to be temporary camps, but they're not temporary camps. Well, you can definitely see some of those wood, and that wood actually is super interesting because I don't actually know what's inside that. Is that really wood or is that the outlines of the barks of the trees? I don't know about that. And then you can see some of those resorts up there, camps up there, camps and resorts. You can see a few camps there, and then there's also a few resorts around the mountains. You can see there, and then there's also you can see those. There are a lot of people here also. So yeah, you can see that a lot of people are coming here. That's because it went viral. A lot of people went to Sajek, and now it's just everybody's here. They don't care. You are meant to come here one time, but people come here 3 or 4 or 5 times. But that's just because of the enjoyment. You can see the view there. The view is another part that makes people come here. It's so high up that the view is so foggy that it looks so good. You can see that it feels like it's photoshopped behind. You can see the clouds, everything's photoshopped behind you, feel but it's not. Then there's also some fallen trees here. That's not too interesting, but yeah, this is another type of roofing. You can see that they got built. And also I realized that in the above parts and also in Khagrachori, they have solar panel lights so that when night comes exactly they turn on, and they also power mostly with solar panels. Then this is the most renewable place in this area so far because there's a wind the water turbine there that generates electricity. There's also I think there are also solar panels there, and then I think there are wind turbines nearby somewhere, but I don't know where they are. I think they're nearby. There are obviously factories nearby, but there's not many places you can put a factory in such a steep area, a cliff area. You are gonna destroy the ground and everything like that. It's not the best area to do. But yeah, you can see also some houses have plants over there. You have to cut down even more. There were no resorts until very recently. In around 2017, I think there were almost no resorts. But after it viral, around 2018. Then there were resorts popping up everywhere, and then now it's this populated place, which is also a best. But we'll talk about it later. Let's first also talk about more of the nature. Let's see if we can get a better view of this road. Yeah, that's a giant tree. That's just a giant tree. And you might be wondering, how are these electric plants coming here, and how do they go up the mountain? Well, they're deep under the ground. Otherwise, they will just block the road. That's all they're gonna do. Now, yeah. So, this is about it. But let's talk a little bit more about the stuff we've seen so far. So there's the culture, there's the resorts and virality things of this area. There's also the history of this area. There's also different cultures and the roads and things of that area. This is a pretty cool area, but we'll be seeing more cultural areas in my channel because I kind of want to explore the world and start after Corona dies out. I'm probably gonna start going outside every now so often and go different areas to try to explore things that I haven't seen again. But this is about it. So bye bye. See you next time. So hey everyone, welcome back to my channel again. This is Sajek, and now we're talking about the part 2. So this part 2 is going to talk about more about the nature and how it affects human lives and the environment and things. Because last time we talked about a lot of culture and there's a lot of things here. So for those of you who didn't see the part 1, first you definitely should. Basically, this is an area where get this done. So that's actually a really fun area of talking about terraforming. And no, this is not Mars terraforming. Terraforming has a meaning. It turns, like, you are turning things into the way you want it to. That's like terraforming. And then you can also see that the grass, look at this area, like the grass rapidly changes, the terrain rapidly blends into the environment in that area, which is embedding in the terrain of that area, which is actually not that complicated in terrain terms. Like, you are not actually complicated in mixing things all over, so it's like super easy to figure out like what is going to be next. If you just see the terrain, you can figure out everything, what's going to happen and what's going to work. And if you can predict the terrain, then you're going to fully predict everything, basically everything other than humans. That's about it really that we can talk about. So bye bye.